Welcome to another episode of Head Office, where we talk all things brains and business. I'm so glad you're here with me today. This is Jackie Elsom. I'm your host. And today I want to talk about something a little bit different. I want to talk about how our brains are trying to control us. I know that sounds a little wild and crazy, but over the years, people have asked me, why do I do what I do? For a long time, my answer has been pretty simple. I'm a business coach and I help business owners grow their business. And while that's true, I've realized that it's not the whole truth. The biggest breakthroughs come because someone learned how to think differently. It wasn't because of a new marketing strategy or a better pricing model. Those breakthroughs didn't come because they discovered the perfect sales pitch. Those things matter, yes. Don't hear me say they don't. But they weren't the thing that changed everything. The biggest breakthroughs happened when the business owner changed the way they were thinking. That's when everything else started to move. Today, I'm on a mission to tell 100,000 business owners that they don't have to be subject to their brains. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. When I say you don't have to be subject to your brain, I'm not saying your brain is bad. Actually, your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do. Remember, its number one job is to keep you safe. Thousands of years ago, that meant protecting us from danger. Today, we're usually not running from predators, but our brains are still reacting as though uncertainty is a danger. Think about that. Every time you consider raising your prices, hiring your first employee, starting a podcast, writing a book, having a difficult conversation, launching a new offer, you know what? The list goes on and on and on. Your brain immediately starts scanning for risk. What if it doesn't work? What if they say no? What if I fail? What if people judge me? The amazing thing is your brain doesn't know the difference between a life-threatening situation and an uncomfortable business decision. It simply wants to protect you. And that's where we get into trouble. Our brains don't just warn us, they tell us stories. Stories that sound incredibly convincing. I'm not experienced enough. The market's too crowded. Have you heard this one? No one will buy this. Or I'm too old. I'm too late. I'll do it when I feel more confident. Any of those resonate with you? Have you ever noticed how believable those thoughts really are? The problem is we rarely stop to question them. Instead, we assume they are facts. But that's something I want to talk about. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. Let me say that again. Just because you have a thought doesn't make it true. Just because you think something doesn't make it a fact. A single realization has never changed the lives of so many people that I've worked with. Because once you begin to separate the facts from the stories your brain creates, something incredible happens. You become more intentional. You stop reacting automatically. You ask better questions. You dig a little deeper to see if what your brain is offering you is really true. I often tell my clients, that's where the gap between what you're thinking and what you're doing is. Most people assume that that gap is caused by a lack of discipline. I don't believe that. I think it's caused because every story our brain offers us is so convincing. You guys, I'm a business owner, and I've been convinced by those stories. But once we understand that that's where the gap is, we start making better decisions. We can recognize fear for what it is and get over that speed bump. That's why I wrote my book, Mind Your Business, that's coming out soon. And the reason I started this podcast, Head Office, because I want to let as many business owners, 100,000 first, to understand that they have more influence over their thinking than they realize. I want this to be a place where business owners can learn how their brains work in everyday language. Yes, I know neuroscience, but I don't want it to be complicated. I don't want it to be an academic lecture. Just practical conversations that help you become a better leader. That's my hope for all of this. Because here's what I believe. The quality of your business will rarely exceed the quality of your thinking. If your thinking changes, your decisions change. And when your decisions change, your actions change. And when those actions change, you get the results that you were hoping for when you started that business. That's why I'm on a mission. Not because I have all the answers, certainly not. And not because I figured everything out, but because I've seen what happens when people stop believing every thought their brain offers them. I've watched owners have difficult conversations that they had been avoiding for months. I've seen them launch things in their business that they've talked about for years. I've seen them do things that they didn't have any idea that was what they wanted to do until we got clear with where they wanted to go. So here's my invitation to you. The next time your brain tells you something that creates fear or hesitation, pause for a minute. Ask yourself one of all of these 3 questions. Is this a fact? Or is this a story? Do I believe it? That simple practice of just pausing for a moment will change things. And then when you ask those 3 questions, you're even going to get clearer. My hope is that every episode leaves you thinking just a little bit different than when you started. Because if I can help one business owner make a cleaner decision, that can be a ripple effect. So I want to invite you to be part of my mission. I'll be sharing more about my mission, message, and how you can be involved in the episodes coming up. So until next time, mind your business by minding your brain.